question is it working? Is the stream working? I don't know. Let me take a look, see if I can find out. It's weird that you can't just tell without looking at your own, I guess, your own page. Maybe it is. Let's wait. If it was working, it would be just me like sitting here like a goofball. It's interesting. It says it's waiting for me, but I'm doing it. Am I not? It says I'm live. Do you see me? Yes, I think you do. Am I not? Okay, so I am live. Sorry about that. Just checking it out. I don't think I actually need these. I think, let me see what my input device is. Sorry. It's been a minute since I've done all this. And see if you can still hear me. I think so. Okay, take this off. I got a new webcam. It's super nice. Before it was it was doing like these massive flashes like strobe lights. My old one is probably 20 years old webcam, so I got a new one. Very nice. Okay, let me scooch up here. If you don't know me, I'm Jason Duff with Earl of Fife Games. And I try to do these, talks. I should try to do them more often. I just don't get around to it a lot. It's nice when people will actually, engage on these, and most people don't. So I don't do them a whole lot. And I don't do a real good job promoting them either. So it's not like I can blame anyone necessarily, but except myself. The reason I'm doing it today is that mostly I want to, a couple of reasons. Number one, we are launching a new Kickstarter tomorrow, as you can see on the screen this way. It's weird, I'm pointing the opposite way, but so this is the Heroes and Hardships Core Rulebook book, GM's Guide, and Foundry VTT. Obviously, we've already done a Kickstarter for the Core Rulebook a couple of years ago. Pretty good turnout for that. So we're hoping to have another good Kickstarter for it. The GM screen and the Foundry VTT module are a part of this. They're the new offerings for this. The GM screen will be printed at Standard Impreza, 4-panel screen. I have an example, kind of what generally it's going to look like. Now this is the Star Wars 2D20 GM screen. Now I can tell you, if you have any of these GM screens from Modifius, I believe at least the ones that I have looked at that I have are printed at the same place I'm going to get them printed. So you can see the quality, right? This is a really quality screen, like component physical wise. So it's portrait, so it stands straight up, right? 4-panel screen. And it would be something like this, right? And it's very thick cardboard. I don't know if you would call it paper stock. I necessarily wouldn't. It's way thicker than that. So you can see how the thickness when it's all together. It's probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, maybe, something like that. So it'll be coming on this one. Now, what's on it? That's we're deciding right now. If you're not on my Discord, please go to the Discord. I'll put the link in the description of this video, and you can see the Discord link, and you can come and give your opinions on what should be in the screen. There's some obvious things we're going to have, but there's you're I would like to see input from people, and I have had some good input, because at first I was like, oh, we could do how many points are in the pick method for character creation. And it's like, somebody's like, well, we really don't need that, right? We need things that during play, what is going to help us the most. If we're doing character creation, flipping through a book is fine for that, and so that's not something we need on the screen. And I agree. I just had not even thought about that really, So we are working through what is needed and what we can actually put on the GM screen, and that decision will be made soonish. And I actually am probably going to hire someone to do the graphic design on the interior of it, and other than me doing it. So I think I'd make it a little nicer than if I did it. I can do a decent job, but like all the graphical design elements of it, I think it would be nice if we had somebody else do it. And I've reached out to a couple people, and we'll see who will end up. Who I can end up getting for that job, but I plan on doing that. The exterior of the screen will be the Heroes and Hardships front cover, or interior covers of both sides. You can see that on the picture here. Maybe I can make it a little bigger so you can see it. Cover my face, which is ideal. So you can see here on there what the screen actually looked like the outside. So it's that four scene panel from different settings that kind of blend together, done by my good friend Angelo Peluso from Nightfall Games. Did that image for me when the Kickstarter came out originally. So that's what the exterior of the screen will look like. So there are other. I wanted to mention there are a couple things that we'll also have in there that you might not know. Let me just look at one thing first here. Are a couple things that we'll also have in there that you might not know. One. It's me. No, so no, that's okay. This will be actually left up for posterity, if you will. GM screen, that's part of that. Digital and physical versions will be on will be in the Kickstarter. Okay. And that is printed at offset printing in Lithuania, Standard Impreza, which does a lot of printing for Modifius and Free League and other European publishers, and myself and others, I'm sure. Great quality. They did the core rulebook, the Heroes and Hardships core rulebook. As I look around for it, I've been a little bit, what's the word, messy lately with where things are getting stored. I don't even see it within my grabbing distance. I wonder where I've got it put. Oh, I know. I was it's in the other room. That's fine. Good quality books they produce, so should be no problems there. Tariffs are minimal right now. Anything additional coming into the U.S. from the EU, so I'm going to try to do that as soon as possible. I'm hoping that those I haven't worked out exactly my freight plan yet, but I have a couple ideas. One is I would like to try to. There's this thing, and this is kind of like maybe a little unnecessary to talk about with customers, but I like to be an open book and tell you what's happening and how everything works. I find it kind of fascinating personally. Um, there is so FedEx Air does a kind of like a drop-in rate depending on how much you have to ship. Basically, the idea is they're trying to fill planes when they don't have them all filled with stuff. So they're trying to get fill that plane to make it the most efficient as possible and get some money out of it. Now it's very cheap compared to all other freight, even like boat freight, right? It's real cheap because they're just trying to fill that space. Now, if I can, who knows how many I'm going to have to print, but if I don't have to print a large amount, then it's possible I could sneak in there and get it actually delivered within like a week to where it needs to go. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know those answers yet because I don't know how many I'm going to print exactly. I would love to print 2,000 of these things, but I think that's probably unlikely. I think we're probably gonna. I mean, if we print 1,000, I think that would probably be a lot. It depends on how well the Kickstarter does. If the Kickstarter does great, then that's that. Plus, there is a possibility if the Kickstarter does do really well that we'll run out of our first print of the core rulebook, and if that happens, then I'll have to print more of those as well, and those will be in the shipping. We'll have to arrange freight for that as well because I will ship with Standard Impreza. I kind of look forward to that day whenever that happens, if it's now or later, so I can do a second printing and get all the errata in there and make a few changes to make the book better. So yeah, there would be a couple things that I would change besides errata, because errata is always getting that included in your book as best possible is good. Now I feel that our errata is pretty explanatory because I have the like old section, new section of what's changed in the versions. I think we're on 1.7. I was talking to James, our Foundry dev, about the current errata, just to make the changes in the actual Foundry module journals as well. So speaking of Foundry, obviously this project also has Foundry support included. Not just support, you can get the Foundry system today and download it and play with it. Absolutely, and it's very functional, very, very, very functional. However, we are going to do the actual core rulebook compendium, so all the rules are in there as well, and so you can ideally be able to drag and drop an ability to your character sheet, and if most of the abilities can be coded to do things automatically when they're when that situation arises. So no VTT is going to be 100% able to code every situation, but we're trying to make it where it's a lot less burden on the users, so the GM and the players, to be able to use their character sheets and have a lot of things already encoded in there, so you don't have to spend the time to do that manually. We try to make Heroes and Hardships primarily was tested online, and so it does work probably best online because it's easy to do the math. Now, it's not saying you can't do it offline. Like, for instance, I play Heroes and Hardships with my current 9-year-old son, and I've been doing it since he's like 6. And he can, now, I simplify things, certainly, but he can do all the math from the dice very quickly. It's not like a massive burden. You hear people like they get grumpy when you say, "Well, you're going to have to do a little math." My 6-year-old can do it, when he was 6. Nice, smart kid, but I'm pretty sure if a 6-year-old can add and subtract, then so can an adult. But either way, The Foundry mod makes everything a lot easier, and it makes that a lot quicker. It has many quality of life benefits. For instance, I think the biggest one for me personally is the dice conversion. I wouldn't say tool because it's just built into the system. So, and here's some hardships for you of those who know the system. Whenever you roll more than double your kept dice, you have to do a dice conversion. And so, for instance, if I'm rolling 5 dice and I'm keeping 2, so let's say in that situation, so because usually what happens is you have something like uh, let's say you have 2 in an ability and 2 in the skill, right? So let's say your swords is rank 2 and your dexterity is 2. Okay. For whatever reason, you get a benefit for something, like let's say you aim in combat, which is a common one, so you get a benefit. So then you're rolling 5 dice and keeping 2, which is not something you can technically do in the system. You should not do that. The reasons why I can explain them very quickly. One is the concept of the more you roll past a kept dice, the less impactful it is. So if you're rolling 5 dice and you're keeping 2, there's a high likelihood that those dice are just going to come up 10 or close to 10. So, and it gets more severe as you get more dice. Like if you're rolling 8 dice, and I'm sorry, it's not rolling. If you're keep rolling, no, you're rolling 4 dice and rolling 8 dice and keeping 4. So at that point, if you go to rolling 9 dice and keeping 4, you're more chance you're just going to roll 10s. So this is kind of a mathematical problem. And so the way we fix that is we do dice conversions. So if you're rolling like 2 more dice than you can, like so you're rolling 10 and keeping 4, for instance. So usually you'd be at 8. So instead of that, you're actually what you do is you convert those 2 benefits to a kept dice. So in this case, you would keep 5 and roll 8. Okay, if you're at 1 over, like say you're at roll 9, keep 4, then you get a static +3 to your roll instead, and you roll 8 dice and keep 4 still. So that's how that works, and the system will do that automatically for everything. So if you have benefits plugged in from abilities, from your actions, whatever, it will take all those benefits, and then it will look and see, hey, is this more than double? Is my pool, am I rolling more than double? Am I keeping? And then it'll do the dice conversion for you. So that's a huge, for me personally, that's a big help, because that would be one thing that would slow me down. And here's in hardships is like, oh, I have to do this dice conversion. What it actually is it? First of all, if I'm a GM and a player, I might not know their exact stats, right? So they're going to roll it, and then if I see it, I'm like, oh wait, you rolled too many dice, right? Because you can't roll that many dice because of this thing. So then you have to do it again. Players might not be able to make that conversion as easy as I can, and so you can have this confusion a bit. So in the Foundry module itself, it just does it. So it's perfect. That you don't have to know. It just does it for you. And then it displays it on the screen for you. And I'll show, I am in the process. So we're 1 day out from the Kickstarter, 1 day, like less 18 minutes, right? So we're 23 hours, 42 minutes away right now as I speak. So we'll that will be addressed in the Foundry system tutorial, which I'm currently working on, and will be done by tomorrow. It's about halfway done, and it's just hard because I have to go back and have to edit things. Like, how many times do I say or like, I try to cut out as much of that goofiness as I can. Do I do some weird lip smacking? It's annoying to to edit that stuff. But yeah, that's the plan there. So that'll be done by tomorrow, and we will launch it at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, 10 Mountain, 11 Central. Not sure what those are in European terms. I know in Italy, I believe it's 6 p.m. believe. So yeah. So yeah, that's it for the Heroes and Hardships. Kickstarter. It's coming tomorrow. Please support it if you can. There's some stretch goals in there that'll be nice. And there are some, freebies that might make their way in there too. The tiers that you can support. Let's see if I can show them very quickly here. Let's scroll down. Okay, so just so you know, also if you're new to Heroes and Hardships and you somehow see this video, cool, welcome. You can look at there's a quick start guide that you have freely available. There is actually also a free preview of the core rulebook, 18 pages of the core rulebook, including the table of contents, so you can see everything that's in there. Let's go back to the rewards. So the GM screen digital version, $15. Okay. The core rulebook by itself, digital, is $25, retail price. GM screen, so this is physical and digital, so it's $30. So you get the PDF and any other digital goodies that come with that. There will be, and the physical GM screen as well. Okay, and then for $30, the premium content module. So this is probably cheaper than what will be in retail. I didn't want to say, hey, it definitely is, but I'm pretty sure that in retail it'll be $35. So save $5 by getting it here. The core rulebook, physical version, $60, PDF and book. There's a deluxe bundle, a digital deluxe bundle. It has pretty much everything that is Heroes and Hardships related, except one or two adventures. So here you have every. I'm not going to say every. I might say every, but it's not every. It's most, and it shows exactly what's included here. So not only do you get the core rulebook, the Foundry module, and the GM screen, you get all our bestiaries, the digital combat action cards, the magic expansion, Fizzbands, Fabulous Fortunes, Volume 1, so it's extra magic stuff. You get the GM's Guide, Volume 1. You get Lone Hero, the solo role-playing supplement. And then of course, you get all our bestiaries, so Fantasy Volume 1, Arch Enemies Volume 1 for Fantasy, Rise of the Orc, Sci-Fi Adversaries Volume 1, Vehicles Volume 1. And then you get a bunch of adventures, including 500 Paces, Witch's Desire, Caesar, Cook of the Crossroads, Dugox, Fat of the Lamb, the Helm of Radiance, Infernal Tranquility, Invasion Earth, Darkland Legacy, Wallace, Mirror Image. You get the Interstellar Setting Guide, and then you get Dungeon Deep and Caverns Old, Secrets of the Sacred Stone, campaign setting, and adventure. So that has an adventure setting information and has new rules for dwarfs, basically. And then you get the physical version of all that. For some of them. So here on the screen you can see what you get physically in addition to the core rulebook and the GM screen is you get the physical version of the GM's Guide Volume 1, Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old, and Lone Hero. Everything else is still digital. And I probably will include the print-on-demand codes for the combat action cards. The problem with the card printing at DriveThruRPG is it's printed at only in the United States, so that can be an issue for other people. So, and if I add cards to a box, it makes shipping go up dramatically. So, and we already have kind of that issue with the GM screen. But I can talk about that later. Shipping is just it's just horrible everywhere. So, unfortunately, right now I can only ship from the U.S. or the U.K. So, for a lot of this, at least this project. Hopefully, one day, you know, if I'm lucky, then I'll have a warehouse in every regional location. So it would be the UK, EU, Australia, Canada, the US. But it's from what I've been hearing from even bigger publishers than I am, they've been pulling out of those warehouses because sales just haven't been good enough to um, warrant keeping stock in those local places. And so, because you're going to get hit with a warehousing fee every month, so maybe it's just not worth it for them. Okay, if it's not worth it for them, it's probably not worth it for me. Unfortunately, I try to keep costs down for shipping, but it's tough. It is tough. So yeah, those are the actual reward tiers that you have. If you all these are available on add-ons as well. So, for instance, if you came and you're like, well, there's not a GM's Guide and Foundry reward tier, and there's not because it's so hard to. When you start adding stuff like that, it like the reward tiers just multiply, and you don't want just like a ton of reward tiers. So the easiest thing is, let's say you wanted the Foundry mod or the GM screen, and you wanted them both, right? But there's not a reward tier for them, so you would either pick one or the other. It doesn't matter. Let's say you wanted the GM, you pick the GM's physical GM screen, so you pick the physical GM screen, and then when you go into your pick add-ons, just pick the Foundry module, and you can add them both. So it's not a big deal. Yeah, so those are what you can get. The first stretch goal I can just reveal now, which is not on this page, is the new character sheets. So I had new character sheets designed for Heroes and Hardships. Same kind of idea and layout wise, but a little nicer to look at, less spreadsheet like. I've heard people say, this character sheet looks like a spreadsheet. So I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. So we've done a little bit of redesign on that. Looks like it's working pretty good. So from that perspective, you're going to have new character sheets. And I can tell you the next stretch goal after that is a booklet, and it's not announced yet, so you can hear it here. If we get to that, which I hope we do, the next stretch goal, not listed currently on the page, will be a booklet that will go with the GM screen, probably in just digital format. And for basically, it's going to have like adventure hooks for different settings, kind of a bit of an extension on some things that might be in the GM's Guide Volume 1 as well. Not exactly the same things, but some other things, some GM advice, things that you can use, tables that might be helpful, random tables and stuff. So, I'm hoping that we definitely get to that one, and then things after that, we'll see. We launch tomorrow, like I say, U.S. noon in Eastern time. So please be there and please support us. You can go to this web page now, the Kickstarter page, and click notify me on launch, and you'll get an email when we do launch, and an email when I think it's within 48 and 8 hours till the end, something like that, I believe. I should know all this, but something like that. Just go there and click notify me on launch. I'll have the link down below. I'll actually put in a link. If you just click it, it'll submit that button for you automatically. So looks good. So let's talk about Earl of Fife in general. A couple things. So this will be our last Kickstarter launched of this year. In November and January, we will finish on. I'm sorry, November and December, we will focus on getting all this finished to send out to people. I expect that the physical product should be on its way in January. I hope, at the very least. It can take a while. I don't. There's not a lot for us to do as far as designing the GM screen. It's not like I'm putting 300 pages together. We're putting 4 pages together with tables and information and stuff like that. So we'll probably move at the speed of me deciding what to put in, and the designer, putting the tables where they need to go and making it look good. Um, so I think I got quoted 6 hours by someone how long it would take them. So not long, right? So this will not be a big project as far as how long it takes to get done. So the GM screen should be pretty quickly designed, and I have all the information I need from the printer to put it in that that print space and just lay it out how they need it. So it shouldn't be an issue. I would expect that to be finished in mid-November sometime, and so then we can get to ordering stuff, and that should be perfect because it might take a little longer than that because funds have to clear and all that stuff for actually purchasing the thing, and during that time I'll be working on finishing what I can of the Foundry module. I do some of the work, and our Foundry dev does most of the work. He's great. So he's really come up with something I think pretty special, and he knows the system really well. He plays Heroes and Hardships. So James, thank you for everything that you've done over the last couple of years building this thing. So I really appreciate it. He's worked great with me, and he's super into it. So it's good. It's nice to have somebody else say, "Hey, I like this thing and I want to work on it." So yeah. So otherwise, for the company, I'm thinking about rebranding the name of the company, honestly, just because I think Earl of Fife Games is a little. First of all, I hate when people ask me if I'm Scottish, right? No, I'm not Scottish. Duff is my last name, so I obviously have this Scottish roots, and I came up with the Earl of Fife thing because of that. So I might make something a little bit, might change it to something. I don't know. It seems like maybe that's a bad idea, but I'm thinking about it. So hopefully we can decide on that. Otherwise, so our plan is to run Kickstarters in 2026, several of them. Ideally 5 or 6, so a lot. I want to kind of get where we're back to back to back to back, and so where whatever is in Kickstarter at the time is basically finished except for printing, right? And shipping. So we would let's say we get to mid-June and we release something. That book should almost completely be finished. The only thing that we're waiting on is the funds to print and ship and make it real quick. I know that there's a lot of people who don't like Kickstarter or are worried about Kickstarter because things take so long, and they do. They take forever. But if we can get this, if I have a very good sense of, I'm gonna, all these are gonna fund. I'm gonna put them back to back to back to back, and they're gonna fund. I can definitely have things finished well beforehand and get them out almost immediately, and that's where I want to get. We're not quite there yet, but over the winter time, if I know that, hey, my next Kickstarter is finished, and then so we can make progress on the ones that are upcoming as well. So hopefully by the time We're 2 Kickstarters into next year, which I'm hoping will be in January and March. That maybe even sooner, because you're always going to want to leave a November December launch date probably alone. Now there's some just kind of going on a quick tangent. There's some people that say it doesn't matter, that you can actually launch on those days as long as you don't launch or end on a holiday. And so I might try that next year. So we'll see. But so I want to launch things pretty early. So in January, I do have a plan of what we're going to launch, and some of you might be privy to this. So I'm publishing a book called Scale Mail for someone else. Scale Mail is a D&D OSR kind of game that is for all ages, really. So it's developed by Mike Larimore, who was the designer of Destined, for Design Mechanism and other things for Mithras. So I knew someone that knew him, and we talked, and we decided we could do this together. And so I'm going to publish this game for him. I believe that will come in January. He is in layout basically already, so there's no more design work to do unless he decides to change something at this point. But he's really just in layout and working through that, and we're kind of just deciding what trim size he wanted and that sort of thing, and went back and forth. At first it was like a digest book, and then it was a U.S. letter book, and that sort of thing. So that's coming in January, and for me that's easy because there's very little for me to do personally, because he's doing all the design work. So I'm just helping him promote it and things like that, and running the Kickstarter page and whatnot. So that's not a lot for me to do, so that'll let me work on the things coming up. Now, after that, I don't have a specific order that the things are necessarily going to be in. Cody, who is my main writing partner in Earl of Fife, I think he just finished the first draft of the new Dungeon Deep and Caverns Old adventure. So he wrote it for 5e, so that's perfect, because Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old supports 5e and Heroes and Hardships. So when that gets passed off to me, what I will do is I will go through the adventure and think about what we can add to it as far as a mechanical things, and if we want to expand the setting based on what's seen. I do have a little comment about settings. So we'll do that, and we will figure out like what I can add mechanically, Heroes and Hardships wise, and what setting stuff we should add. So that will be next year. I think it probably will be the second one, because that's just what's the most finished. So you'll get that Heroes and Hardships version of the next Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old adventure, which I believe the name is Secrets of the Dark Water. So that is that one. So it's about to give you a little bit of spoiler, it's about the underground lake or sea. The size is unknown. In the second hall of splendor that will be investigated by the dwarves. So that's that. And we'll have a new map of the second hall of splendor. So you're going to get that. That's going to come from the same person who did the first one, so to keep it all kind of consistent. So Volter from what's his name? Something Volter's Workshop, I think it is. So he'll do the map for that. So we'll have more information on the second Hall of Splendor. And then when we do the 5e version, I will probably have Jeremy come back. Jeremy Forbing, who did the 5e work, will come back, and we'll do the 5e version. So we'll have more information on the second Hall of Splendor. And then when we do the 5e version, I will probably have Jeremy come back. Jeremy Forbing, who did the 5e work, will come back. Jeremy Forbing, who did the 5e work. for the first one. I'll have him, if he's available, come. I have to talk to him briefly. Come back and do the 5e work for the second one as well. And we might include I think we'll probably write it in 2020 or 2014 rules, and probably have a guide of how to convert things to the 2025 4 rules, whatever, and I do that for the first version too. Because when Secrets of the Sacred Stone came out, that was just about when those rules came out, or maybe even came out before. I think it came out about the same time, so they don't have the new D&D rules. Sorry. So that will be there. Abandon All Hope, second edition. I do have plans for that for next year, both the H&H version and the Mothership version. So that will be based on, the Abandon All Hope first edition, which we obtained the rights to, bought the copyright and everything for those games. So you can see that on, our website or DriveThruRPG. It's a sci-fi horror game based on a prison ship, where the prison ship is infested with demons, essentially. We'll make some changes, but the general gist of the game will be the same. I think we'll make, like in the first edition, I think some of the demons were kind of silly, on the silly side, so we'll kind of make it more serious. And of course, everything's getting a facelift. All the art will be different, and it probably will be a black and white book. I think that at least the interior, that exterior will be color, but the interior will probably be black and white. And I think things that are related to Mothership for us will end up being black and white interior books. So for both Heroes and Hardships and Mothership in that regard. So. I know Cody has another Mothership adventure he wants to do, and it really has like Guardians of the Galaxy, the last one where they're fleeing I don't remember what he's called, the guy who creates things, and the torture of the animals and stuff has kind of like that a vibe to it. But that's kind of in the future, so that's one thing. As usual, I always, when I talk about these, I always talk about Stormbolter. I've written probably 50 pages of Stormbolter stuff right now. How much that gets used, I don't know. I'm taking a real strong critical look at how I want to write the setting guide, because it's going to be a big setting guide. And I don't want to just like dump lore in there like if you're reading Wikipedia, right? I don't think that's really very helpful for GMs or players. It's not very exciting. So I mean, sometimes you need that to some degree, but mostly you want to have what people call actionable lore. Okay, and this is a term I just learned a couple days ago, honestly. And this is just saying that how can players or GMs use this lore? It's not you have the lore, but it's also written in a way to suggest that okay, these characters could do these things if they come into contact with this lore, right? So I think that's very valid, and I'm trying to come up with kind of like I've really been like kind of buffaloed, as my parents would always say, just kind of a little apprehensive of how I want to write it and how I want to organize it, really, right? Because you look at and I have a whole bunch of examples I'm looking at right now. As much as I can, haven't done huge deep dives, but some old setting guides from early D&D or D&D 3.5 forward. I have a lot of those books actually. Like Eberron was recommended, and I did enjoy Eberron as a setting actually. even though I don't typically, I didn't typically enjoy D&D settings, but Eberron was a unique, good setting for D&D is still. So that was one of the things that I was recommended. And then Forgotten Realms, of all things, which I'm not a Forgotten Realms fan, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the content of what's being put in there. I'm looking for, how it's structured, how it's presented, that sort of thing. And other things. I think there's uh, some other things that I was recommended that I don't have or have never read. So I'll be looking at those too. And then even things like, okay, this is how to describe kind of like your equipment, like areas, right? Like, so instead of just saying, oh, this is the thing, this is what it does, and this is how much it costs, and this is this is the stats for it, just like kind of write it a little differently. And so there's a RuneQuest example I was given that I haven't looked at yet, but so I want to make this book as good as I can, as helpful as I can, as interesting as I can for people. And I think there is a way to do that, and that way is by stepping back out of like my comfort zone, what I would normally do, what just seems easy for me to do, and look at like the best way I can present this for people and what is the best information to give them, because this setting could be huge. I know a ton of it. I've written a ton of it. I just have a lot in my head canon that I know. But what do players and GMs need to know, and how can I best present that to them so they have the best book possible? So that's kind of the hold up on Stormbolter. It'd probably be, I always say probably late in the year, but it probably will be later in the year. It'll take some serious work to get there, and like I say, I want to be able to, for the most part, release that book very soon after it funds, right? Any book. So those are the ones I know for sure that we're targeting. There's other things that I have in mind. There's another one that I could probably talk about. It's kind of like a hodgepodge fantasy setting, probably higher fantasy. So what do I mean by hodgepodge? I was like looking at all our adventures, and I guess it was like, could I use these in a unified manner together with other ones to build a setting and a bunch of adventures in a book? And basically, this is me thinking about Mistwraith from that we did for Dragonbane, and how to convert it into H&H, and how I don't think that it's really appropriate to do it as a standalone book by itself. I just don't know that it would be that interesting. I mean, it might be fine. You're getting an adventure, but I want to do more with that, right? I think that a solitary adventure is not quite what I would be looking to do for it, and it's mostly that, right? It has a bestiary, and it has some information that's very Dragonbane specific about wraiths and stuff. So that stuff would have to be changed generally for Heroes and Hardships. So for Heroes and Hardships, I might want to consider being like, oh, this is this region of this fantasy world, and then you get there and have like a point crawl-esque regional map kind of thing between different areas. And I've been thinking about how to do that, and it's kind of just on the periphery of what might happen. And then I always kick the tires on new products, and what else might be out there that we might want to do, and if there's any IP out there or games that look to be abandoned that we have interest in, that we could come in and grab and turn into Heroes and Hardships, or a second edition of whatever they were used for, or a different system that we think that it would work. And there's a couple that I've been looking at. It's really hard though when you find a game like that and you try to contact the publisher, which is probably defunct, basically, from what I'm looking at, and they're just it's hard to get a hold of someone I think it's no real secret that I've been looking for, Hollow Earth Expedition and trying to potentially talk to somebody about bringing that back. And I've done that I haven't constantly done it, but I probably first did it a couple years ago and just cannot get a hold of the guy. Um, so I've done that, and I have no like hard feelings when somebody says no or even doesn't respond. But for that it's tough to how can you prove you're serious? First of all, it's like, oh, I just got this weird message from this random person I don't know about buying my game. It sounds almost like a scam or like some sort of weird um, fish or something, but that's kind of the way it is. So I try to look at those things to see if there's things we can bring back. If you have suggestions, please let me know. I'm always interested in that, and we've done that one time, and I think it will be very. I'm very happy with just where it is right now, and we haven't even done anything. But the actual potential of Abandon All Hope, I think, for H&H and Mothership is quite big, and I look forward to putting that on the table this year for sure. Those are the things that we're working on. Right now, my main focus is obviously this Kickstarter coming out and Mist Wraith, fulfilling that, which is pretty much finished. All the digital goods are sent. The PDF is sent. The Foundry codes are sent. So that's all finished. I have both proofs from both of my printers coming in now. One's supposed to be here tomorrow for sure. One will probably be later in the week, I think. And once those proofs are finished, I'll just start ordering them. So the proof that comes from the Amazon printers should be here tomorrow, and that is half. It's basically half and half of the printers I'm going to use. So if that proof comes back how I like it, and of course there's always a possibility that there's something wrong and I need to fix it. But once all that is done, I'll just start ordering for people, and it'll be sent straight from Amazon to them. For the U.S. and some other very odd, not odd, I don't want to say odd, but the very unique places to back will be coming from the U.S. Coming from my fulfillment center in the United States, and so those will be printed with Mixam, that proof should be here a little later this week, I think. Worst case next week. Once that's done, I'll order a batch to go to the fulfillment center, and they'll start sending it out when they get it and they're able to. So a couple weeks after, probably. So by January, for sure, all those books should be fulfilled, and that's the absolute worst case scenario. I think probably more like middle of November they'll start going out. And then, I don't really have a lot of active work to do with that left, because I've done all the layout, and unless there's changes I have to do, but that's not going to be like a huge time sink. So this winter I'll be finishing the GM screen, which also probably will be well underway in November. The big one is helping get the last parts of the core content module in Foundry finished and get it updated. James will do most of the coding for what needs to be coded, and I'll be plugging away with some data entry stuff, so you don't have to for adversaries and things like that, and then testing and making sure they work correctly and that sort of thing. So that's my plan for the winter. And then, of course, dealing with the freight of the book and stuff, or the GM screen, getting it back and forth. So that's pretty much my winter. Also, as I get there, I'll be doing the stuff for the new Dungeon Deep and Kevin's Old Adventure and setting stuff. So that would be the next thing that I would work on after that, probably, if that's what's coming out in March, which I think it is. So, and then helping Mike promote Scale Mail and running the page and stuff when that goes live. So you'll hear more about Scale Mail in our newsletters to come. Like I say, if you're not on our Discord server, please join. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have there. I'm pretty active as needed on there. I would love to see more talk on our Discord server about Heroes and Hardships and games in general and stuff like that. I know it's finding it, some Discord servers are just kind of naturally a little less gabby, because it's just like one thing you have, one of your billions of Discord servers. But so join. I'll have the link down there. Please, if you're interested in this Kickstarter, if you're a Heroes and Hardships fan or you're new to it, either is just fine. You can jump on board at the very beginning, here and get all the old and new stuff. Or if you've been a Heroes and Hardships customer before in a long time, then you can upgrade your experience with the GM screen or the Foundry VTT module, or both. Plus, you can get all the other stuff too in the deluxe bundles. So I appreciate everybody's support watching this very long video of me ramble on the day before my Kickstarter, and I hope you enjoy Heroes and Hardships and the other games we come out with for other systems, and I appreciate everybody's support, and hopefully we can make 2026 the best year yet for this company, whatever it's going to be called. If it's Heroes and Hardships, or I'm sorry, Earl of Fife Games or something else. So I do appreciate it. Like I said, follow the links below in the description field of this video, and I'll see you around, hopefully tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Thanks.